Alice and Gunita, thank you very much for being here. This is actually the first episode of the Rare podcast. I'm very happy to have you here. So we always start by, asking you a little bit to introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do, where are you based, and whatever information you think it is useful for us to understand more about you. I don't know who wants to start, but I let you let's say the floor.
Thank you, Luigi, for this exclusive opportunity to be on the first episode. So my name is Alice. I work for La Futura, and I'm originally from Latvia, but now for 10 years I have been in Greece. So at La Futura we are doing many different training projects and remote work, and digital nomads is a topic I have been also involved at some points for the last almost 15 years. So I'm very interested to follow the new trends and to be part of this project.
Gunita, what's about you?
So, yeah, my story is quite similar to Alice's because, I'm from Latvia. Last 9 years, almost 9 years, I'm in Athens. We both work together at Lab Futura. My background, I can say I'm a migration expert. I've worked in the migration field last 17 years. I worked for IOM, like International Organization for Migration, and non-governmental organizations, and also governmental. I've worked for the Ministry of Interior for some time in the refugee centers. I've also worked in Greece and in Cyprus and reception centers. So that's my background, and I'm an expert also in integration issues. And so it's like this is different. It's also migration, but let's say it different kind of migration.
Different, but also similar in a way.
Yeah, but in a way it's similar. Yeah, in a way it's similar. Yeah, that's about me.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, before diving a little bit into the topic of the activities that we have developed all together, and specifically this one that you were coordinating, would you like to share some more insights and information on your own process of moving to Greece? Because it was not easy, I guess, as well. I mean, people can think that it's really nice, for two Latvian people going to Greece and settle there. But I think there are also some, dark side on this, like that is not that easy. The culture is completely different, and moreover, maybe at the beginning was not that easy to settle there. And moreover, why did you think to go there? I mean, what was the process behind? Maybe there are some personal things as well. I mean, I moved sometimes as well for personal reasons as well, but maybe it's the same case for you.
Yes. Personal reasons here. It's I think that our stories are quite similar, Alice.
Very challenging indeed, Luigi. And I've also lived in other countries in Germany several times. I have spent more or less time, and there I would say the integration was, of course, also challenging, but much less than with Greece, because indeed cultures are very, very different. And also now, after 10 years, of course, I feel I'm a Latvian living in Greece. I'm not a Greek person, but I think I've acquired some also features of the life and nature and interaction what people have here. But that's why also I think we are in a good position, kind of also understand the challenges that digital nomads or remote workers we are looking at this project might experience by moving to a completely different culture, completely different region. And I think, that's definitely the advantage for us. Maybe Gunita wants to add something.
Yeah, I'm sometimes thinking before moving to Greece, I said I visited Greece so many times. But that was like just visiting, being a tourist. And I knew a good good things and also some bad things about Greece. As any other place, there are positive and negative aspects. But moving to Greece, that was absolutely different. You're facing new issues, and and you start from the beginning, and also career-wise, that's challenging, and I think that the opportunity to work remotely, that's an amazing thing. It's like for us, for many of us, I think COVID kind of helped to do it smoothly. It's more easy than it was before. Yeah, it's
I
like
would
a
like to
normalized. It's normal thing.
Yeah, this is a very important point what Gunita is saying, because as I mentioned, I started working with this remote work topic already in 2012. And then before COVID, it was something that people were very reluctant to see as a real choice. People are saying, oh, okay, it's a kind of fancy and interesting, and some people are doing, but it was something very exotic for most of people. And I think now it has changed really a lot. We see people even in pre-retirement age working remotely, which we could not imagine back then, because then it was something, for young people, for certain professions only. And what Gurit already started talking about, that when going to live in another place, if you have a work that you can do remotely, it's of course a big advantage. And that's why now talking about digital nomadism, I also came across a new term that I didn't know about, but we have been talking about this trend as well, slow madism. So it means being a digital nomad, but not traveling so often. And I think this is the group that we also want to reach with our project. Those are people who are not interested to change their locations often, but that they are ready to stay for a longer time. Because
And when you mean longer time, I think you mean like more months, right? 3-6 months at least.
Not like 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, or 1 month here, 1 month there, because I think to enjoy the advantages of rural area, you need to stay there for a longer time and to become kind of a temporary inhabitant.
I think
to be trusted by locals, let's say, also, to become a member of that society. It's like,
I don't know how do you feel about this, but in my own experience and the experiences of people around with whom I talk, it's about the need for a community, Like, and you need time for doing that. You need to stay in places, for creating contact with people and for feeling part of a community. And you might live as well sad moments in a way, but you need to have access to all different feelings so that your life is real in that place. And that's why you need time, probably. And I've been witnessing the same. So this is changing. It's not anymore about being in a place for just a few weeks or even a month and after leaving immediately, but it's trying to stay longer and more. And there are places that start to offer this as well. Going a little bit into the project, at the beginning of the project, we make this research. Maybe you want to talk about this, right? I let you completely the floor to explain what it was, this, and how it went.
So yes, together with Gunita, we did the research, and we focused on 2 parts in this research. The first one, sorry, I will tell my husband not to speak here because it disturbs me.
This is the beauty of doing the things live, like.
Okay, even to another room because too much noise. And so in the project, we did the research. In research, we have 2 big parts. First is based on a survey we did. We try to approach nomads not from specific countries, not all countries, digital nomads and remote workers, whenever from Europe and the world. We distributed this survey also through Facebook, LinkedIn, different groups and stakeholders. And then this is what I was more working with. And the other part, what you and Gunita were involved, was the interviews. So we interviewed altogether 17 digital nomads and remote workers about their experiences. And we put a special emphasis on experiences in the rural areas.
What was the main result of this after this? I mean, regarding the needs. And moreover, I have another question. If you can explain the difference between a remote worker and digital nomad.
So a digital nomad, it's the typical person we imagine, a person who is doesn't have a stable home and is traveling, working, and living in different destinations. Whereas a remote worker is someone who is working from her own laptop, needs internet, and remote worker can be working from their home or from any other location. But here the point is not that the person does not have a stable house and is traveling around. The person could be working from the flat and then at some point from another location. And this is why remote workers are actually, I think, a very interesting group with a big potential, because these are people who don't need to change their locations, but they might do it now and then. And I think for rural areas, this is a very good group also to focus on. It's actually people like we three here.
That also, just the digital nomad can in one moment decide to stay somewhere, and then he's remote worker because he's like staying there for a long time, or he's settling down, let's say. And that can change again from that remote worker. He can start traveling around more often. So, and yeah, those
That's
borders
a good point.
yeah,
Indeed,
borders are not that strict, let's say.
Flexible, and I would say also depends very much on your point of life where you are. Like, for example, if you have school age children, probably you're not that flexible to be a real digital nomad, but still at some points of the year you might work from somewhere else. And I think in practice many people actually are doing this, and especially now when the remote work opportunities are much bigger than they were. For example, working from your maybe summer house during the summer months, apart from your typical 1 month vacation. Also, now quite a few companies, and I know also from Latvia, for example, big state companies are also offering their employees that up to 3 months they can go and work also remotely from another location.
It's very interesting. No? Also, I think that they do this in order to increase as well the engagement and the involvement of employees, right? That sometimes they need to have like a sort of access to a different experience, no? Above all, for people who are working for the same in the same place for a long time, and they plan to do that. I think it's very, very important, no?
Yes, also motivation, and competitiveness for employers also.
Were there any specific challenges the digital nomad and remote workers they have highlighted in the research or or in the interviews? I remember to have spoken with a lot of people, and they say that, for example, a very important thing was the availability of connection, of Wi-Fi connection, for example. In some places it might be more difficult than in others, even if this has been solved generally. It's one of the things that maybe was a problem years ago, but right now it's not anymore. Or, for example, the transport, availability of transport. I know that a lot of people didn't want to go there with their own car, and they wanted to reach this place by public transport. And sometimes this is not ideal. And I'm talking about Italy, for example, where the situation sometimes in terms of public transport is not ideal, no? Above all in areas that are a little bit isolated. Were there other, I don't know, issues that people have highlighted in this sense?
I think that, yeah, the most important thing is like good Wi-Fi, good internet at that place, which can be an issue in some rural areas. For example, here in Greece, I'm sure that can be an issue. And also the transportation, it's like, yeah, that I don't know, in Greece maybe it's not that difficult, but like at a comfort wise, it can take time to travel to some distant area, let's say. I don't think so. Some people mentioned also language barrier. If people there in that rural area, for example, can't speak English, that's an issue. So there's no language to communicate. And other issues, there's like some mention that that community, they, if they are very conservative, or for example, there are someone mentioned, like, for some sexism could be an issue, and or if they're negative to gay people, and some things like that. I heard, because I thought maybe in rural area that can be more more often than in cities. Alice, maybe you can
I
remember
would
something.
say, I think the challenge that you mentioned also, and you are doing interviews, so you know better from the survey. Yeah, we also saw the same. So internet, accommodation, transport, connectivity, and also some access to services is what people might find challenging. On the other hand, I would say it's all possible to solve if we make kind of welcoming service. If there is a person we can talk to and who can help us. For example, my summer house, where we go in Greece, also I cannot reach it by public transport. I need the last 10 minutes to get a taxi, but I know a taxi driver who I can call, who works in the village, so even if he's not available, he will find someone else who wants to do a little job and get us with a car if we arrive by train. So it's all possible to solve, but you need connections. And this is, I think, one thing that we are also emphasizing in this project, that rural areas, if they want to welcome digital nomads and remote workers, they need to work on this welcoming service. And I think now with the residencies, we are doing a very nice piloting of how this could work in real life.
Yeah, we might remind to the users listening us that there are project we promised 12 residencies to be performed in 4 different territories. One is the region in the Catalonia outside, let's say, Barcelona, so in the hills surrounding Barcelona. Another one is in Prijevni in Croatia, in the mid of Croatia, I would say. Another one is the Ledro Valley, close to Garda Lake in Italy. And another one is basically the center of Germany, right? And on the website remoteapps.eu, that we will post after also on social media, you can still apply to the residencies. 4 of these residencies are offered as well, between brackets offered, by us as company that are basically formed by people that work remotely, so 3 Agency and Lab Futura. And it's very interesting to see that we were saying this before the podcast started, that we were thinking that this was the most challenging part of the project, because we were afraid that maybe we will not reach enough people, and there will be not enough application for people. And instead, we are experiencing quite the opposite, because in each location we are receiving a lot of application and there is a lot of interest. And I think that the reason why it's like that is also that the places are really wonderful, and they are really and people are in need of having different experiences. I think that it's not just the fact to join a remote community or a remote area in which you are surrounded by nature, this for sure, but also the fact that you can experience a different kind of and way of working. In Germany, for example, what is really appealing is the fact that you can work in a different way. There is a lot of community work that you can do, like organizing cultural and creativity events, or also fixing things, like doing handcraft job that for people like us that work always on a screen and work always on services, like on digital services in a way, it might be really a refreshing experience,
Yeah, and gardening.
Gardening as well. I think gardening was a very big point,
Yeah. Of course, after long hours sitting your laptop, it's nice to go out, or maybe to learn some new skills.
I think in my own experience, while I was inviting people to apply, I didn't have to say much. Like it was enough to share the page of the project where the residencies were presented, and it was really appealing to people, the possibility to have a different experience, And instead, from what you observed, what will be the benefit for communities in matching with such people, with remote workers on Digital Nomad? Is there any specific advantage or any specific benefit that they might have in having this sort of experiences?
Just because one of the residency now in Croatia, the first resident is already there, and I'm following her on Instagram. And I think, she's making some nice videos, like how she arrived, and she's filming the house where she's staying, and also it's very good because she's mentioning like some things. Oh, that's amazing what I have here, and then other side, like you can feel that she's a bit critical. So I think that can help. Can help the owner of that place to make the place let's say almost perfect for digital nomad who arrives there and stays there for a longer time. And also she's now, so I can see, involved in a local community already, and there's I think that communication and how she explains what she's doing and how she's like traveling, changing locations and finding new places, that can help locals to attract people like her, to attract digital nomads to such place.
Can you mention her name so that at least can you mention her name? The name.
Her name, her name is Katya Kovalkova.
Katya Kovalkova. We will have her as an interview in the next.
We hope very much. Yeah, Katya will.
I hope, because she's there, and that's a real experience, and she can tell. I'm just like following her stories, but I can see that she enjoys it already. She's like, I think 1 week, there. So,
and this is another important point for our project, that we are looking not only how to attract digital nomads or remote workers to rural areas, which would be kind of basic approach to this topic. We are looking also how local communities can benefit from this interaction, because I think we have all seen how digital nomadism can bring many bad effects on local areas, especially internationally, and also on many cities. When they become hotspots for digital nomads, the locals start having problems. So in rural areas, we definitely don't want that. We want to approach this arrival of digital nomads and remote workers in a different way and find them a meaningful opportunity to collaborate. And I think also people that we interviewed and people that took part in our survey, they were people who were actually interested in this kind of meaningful collaboration also with local communities. And this is, I think, the reason, as you said, Luigi, that we don't have problems to find people, because we don't only offer a beautiful place, because there are many, many beautiful places all over Europe where people could go, but we are offering this like a kind of package, welcoming package, opportunity to get involved in local cultural events, to do meaningful things together. And this is a next step, next stage in welcoming digital nomads.
I think, in fact, it's what you mentioned is very important. I remember that when we designed and we developed the proposal at the beginning, we really try to, at the beginning, we imagined this as really something in a way targeting the needs of digital nomads. But at some point, while writing it and developing it, we felt that there was something that wouldn't go for us personally and for the project itself. And then we really completely changed the perspective. And we started to say, like, look, maybe we should look at the needs of communities, first of all. Otherwise, this won't work, because it will be a sort of top-down thing in which we put our own needs at the center of it. And that will be wrong. And indeed, we completely changed the perspective. And I think it was a very good thing. And we did work a lot, with communities, because we are talking right now about the digital nomad needs, because this was more our part of the work. But we know that the 4 partners that have, the 4 associations that are working together with us in this project, they really focused a lot on collecting the needs from local communities so that they could be matched with the right people, so that these people will serve the communities and not the other way around. Because we have witnessed in a lot of territories instead the fact that they will change just to, in a way, welcome digital nomads. And it's a short-term vision, I would say, that it doesn't really serve the territory in a way, and in just one direction, which is not really positive. Well, we are going towards the end of it. Alice introduced a little bit a topic of if we imagine right now, we know that the project is going to end, right? The end of October. Do you have already any idea on how to bring this forward? in the sense that what could be a next step for this project and in general for initiatives like Rare that wants to in a way promote the topic of residencies serving a little bit different local communities? Do you already have some elements for a way forward for this?
Well, I think definitely we want to involve more communities, and I already now in the project we don't have a community from Latvia, but I already see the community where I'm involved in other projects that we could involve them as well. Because of different reasons. One is, of course, the very simple economic reason, for example, that we want to promote off-season visits, but also we want to have this meaningful interaction and get a new, fresh, maybe new, fresh approach to our territory, which could be also given by people from outside when they get to know better this community. And we also, what I see now, there are some other initiatives, of course, also about similar topics. I think it would be very nice to network more. And now also with this podcast, we are trying to do that, to involve and get to know from other initiatives and other people working on this topic, what they are doing, how we can collaborate. And I think, the strong point of our project is really the fact that we are very much looking at the needs of the communities and how to make it as meaningful and as beneficial for both sides as possible.
Punita, would you have anything to add as well regarding this?
Yeah, I wanted to add because if we talk about those communities, and I think let's say in Latvia, I think they have never thought about being attractive for digital nomads. For example, for example, here in Greece or in Italy, summers are very hot, and why not to go to some nice village in Latvia and spend a month or two there in summer, where weather is quite nice there, in July and August. And so those local communities, have never thought about that they can be attractive. They can attract digital nomads to their villages. So it's like
that's a very good point, actually, to looking into the future, because we already see this trend that tourism to colder destinations starts taking off. Yeah, very, very, very right to say that.
I think that this is also about the changing of perspective of people, because, in a way, unfortunately, with over-tourism as well, this happened, in the sense there are some places, for example, in Italy, I'm witnessing this. I live in Lecce, in the south of Italy, which is a very touristic place, and during summer, it gets really packed, and as well, there is the question of weather. It's super hot, really, and there are moments every day in which you cannot really go out, because it's really, really hot. Like the phase between 12 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, we all know it.
Yeah, we all know it.
And it's
While
coming.
And in the north is much better from this perspective. There are less people around as well. That sometimes is positive if you want to have a different experience. So I think that this is completely changing. And as well, the fact that you can have access to a different experiences there, right? Where nature is different compared to the nature that we have here. Is very desertic, for example, is not green at all. Well, maybe I can imagine in Latvia or in Poland or in Lithuania, there are lush places in which everything is green. So it's a completely different experience as well, no?
Yeah, it's not overpopulated. It's green.
Exactly.
And fresh air. And also there are, for example, some physical activities that you can do there, and or hiking also. It's there are so many opportunities that locals just, they need to think about that. Because maybe we can offer that.
Highlighted in our research that also this demographics of digital nomads and remote workers are changing a lot. So if in the beginning it was young people, probably after their studies, starting their professional life, now we see also people 50 plus and many families with children, even sometimes, or people with their pets. So many different people with many different needs. And I think rural areas can offer each of them a very good set of things to do and different services. But we need to work on this reception and welcoming, exactly what we are focusing on a rare project.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Alice and Gunita. This was very, very interesting. So we invite everybody to follow the channels of the project, which is the Rare Project, and we keep in touch for the next episode of the podcast. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Lydia.
Luigi.
Thank you, Luigi.